face all tight?
No.
Yeah. Well, we're live now.
Oh, hi.
Someone's smoking weed in the garden next door to me. It stinks. I'm gonna shut the door. Yeah. Damn, that's strong.
I put 2 chewies in my mouth and I shouldn't have done because now it's too big. I'm like that.
Well, last week you were chewing on some chicken and now you're eating the.
I've had to throw it out. Okay.
This room now just stinks.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, you are growing some ganja plants in the background there.
Oh, these are all my false plants. These false bamboo. It makes people think that I'm like, just knock it and the dust goes everywhere. Yeah. This makes me trick myself into. I am a loser in it. Well, I'm a loser anyway. You've known me long enough to know that. But like, I have false green plants here to make trick myself into thinking I'm outside, and I have a Lumi sun lamp there that I turn on. So I work. So it's like a sun. So in the morning I have the sunrise in there, so I don't get like sad disorder. Yeah. Yeah. You used to take the piss. It's just a southern guy. I'm just a southerner. You see, to your northern.
Not all people are like that. Not all southerners like that.
To be fair, I'm the only person I know. I've never met anyone else like me. To be fair, so it's okay.
You all right, Millie? Yeah.
What's up with Millie?
Millie's just walked in and nearly knocked herself out with a laptop. Right. What are we talking about this week?
We're talking about why you should review.
Yeah.
It was your topic, and you're like, hello. Yeah.
I've got a good one. I've got a good one for it because I want to do. It's a bit backwards, right? So why you shouldn't review?
Okay.
Right. Why you should review is very important. Why you shouldn't review is also very important. Why you shouldn't review is you should not review someone just because you want to get paid commission again. If you do, get out. Get out. Stop selling. Get out. Just, you're not a good person. Like, stop.
Just a nasty person.
Just know, like, and I come across it constantly where people say to me who've had advice previously, so do we need to review this in a couple of years? No, you don't. No, we can if you want to, and we will check in and I will go over everything and make sure everything's still all right, but you do not have to change this at all. You can cancel at any time. You can swap at any time. You are not tied to any renewal whatsoever. Like, I'm very, very clear with all my clients on that because it's just a massive abuse of knowledge and it winds me up, right? So people who listen who aren't from the industry, if anyone's ever told you that you need to review your insurance, it's a lie. You do not. It would be advised that we check and we make sure it's all right and it's still up to date, but you don't need to. So if that's why you're doing a review, stop, because it's not right. And that's what I was told when I first started the industry, was that to work everything off for 2 years, and then once it had been 2 years to go through and re-broke my clients. And I believe that because I didn't know any different until you start speaking to other people in the industry, speaking to people like you. And I'll never ever forget the first time it ever come to my head that as I did your insurance, and obviously I'd only been 6 months I'd have been in the industry, 4 or 5 months.
I think I remember doing it. We'd been working together maybe a month. Not even that. Like, it was super early, and you'd only been in the industry maybe 6 months.
Yeah. And I remember saying to you, so what we'll do is I was taught, like, we'll do
that
this.
Shows how long ago it was. I remember thinking, if I do my insurance with her, then technically that'll pay like her first 8 weeks with me, so she'll get it free. That was my thought first. Didn't know you're any good at the time. Obviously now look where we've gone. But
you obviously didn't think I was any good, because then I went, so what we'll do is I'll never forget, I felt like such a dick. Like, I was like, and I thought you were brilliant. And obviously you because you've been in the industry, I knew you knew your stuff. I remember saying to you, right, well, we'll do this. And then in 2 years, what we'll do is review it and see if there's anything better. And you were like, no, you don't. Why would you review it? And I was like, well, that's what we have to do. And you were like, no, you don't. And I remember thinking, dick. Like, what, you made me feel like a dick. And then afterwards, I remember saying to you on our call, please explain. Obviously, Freddie was with you, wasn't she? So I didn't want to start.
Yes.
And I remember saying on the next call when I spoke to you, like when it was our session, right, explain that. What do you mean? Because I genuinely, genuinely what I thought. I thought that was what it was. Same as you do house insurance and car insurance every year. I thought life insurance is different. That's what you were told. So people might be like me and genuinely think that that's true. It's not. It's a lie. Do not do that.
Well, I remember that though, because I remember that was where, to be fair though, I think that's also where our relationship started to get stronger, because it was then we were starting to be, I was like, oh, okay, so you don't know about this thing. You can also do this, and you can also do this, and you just shouldn't. and then you started to like, it's like wool over the eyes. You started to change.
You don't know
now,
anything. You know what you know, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't think you were bad at the time as well, but I didn't think you were bad at all, because I just remember thinking, yeah, you just haven't been taught, because you was, as you said, it was not I've been spoke to people before and they're salesy. Yours was not salesy. Yours the whole way through was very, very professional, very good, very putting us first. And it was when you said that, I just remember thinking, that's not right. Like, you don't
just mess the full
like
thing up.
Absolutely fine to do it, like 100% fine to do it, and would rebroke if it's the right thing for us and the right thing for you and financially and stuff. But then it's been super powerful for you afterwards, because I think it makes you stand out.
Yeah, because then when you realize it, you're like, oh my God, that is so bad. So yeah, I only review. So when I've like spoke to clients, and some clients, then you get clients who actually want to review. There is those types of clients who want to review, want to make sure they're not overpaying, want to make sure there's nothing better available, and the products do change and evolve, and you get more things included. But if that's what you're going to do, then you need to make sure you're doing what's right for the client. So you do your critical illness expert report, make sure what you're giving them is better than what they currently have. But the main reason, so when I do reviews, and I don't not do them, I'll always, with clients, if I've spoken to them for, I don't know, say 2-3 years, I'll like obviously say, yeah, let's have a look at your cover and just make sure it's still relevant. 50% of the time it is still fine. Nothing's really changed, still in the same house. The mortgage is coming down at the rate that you would put it in to be estimated to come down. They haven't had any more kids. The income's still relatively the same. Yeah, just leave it where it is. Could I rebroke that and earn commission again? 100%. There's been so many times when I've done someone's review or checked over the cover, and I could do them even like 30 pence cheaper or 50 pence more expensive, and be like, yeah, but the cover's more up to date, it's new, it's got this benefit, you now have this, you now have that. Is that what's right by the client? No. And do you know why else it's not? And you'll get people who say that this is wrong, but this is just the way my brain works. For the absolute anxiety of, imagine you did someone's insurance in 2020, right? And then 2023, you say, right, we'll do a review. I can actually get you better cover for the same price. So quid's in, I'm going to earn some extra money here. I'm going to rebroke you and I'm going to earn more commission, right? Client's still getting the same level of better, like up-to-date cover, and it's the same price, so it's win-win. My anxiety would then go, hold on. In 2020, they had no medical whatsoever. Now in 2023, they're still telling me they've got no medical. I cannot guarantee that they have got no medical in that time, like no change. And I always think in my head, imagine if in 6 months' time they turn around and something happens, and then they go, oh, well, I didn't think that was relevant. I didn't mention that. Now, if it was in 2019, people are going to think I'm a weirdo, but if it was in 2019, then I could say, well, you know, I only give you the cover based on what you told me. But I think when you're redoing the cover again, and they already had cover in place with you, and if you change it, and because you change it, that then can like affect whether they get paid out or not. Or it's not worth the anxiety for me. It's not worth the risk. I don't think it's right at all. Like, and if a client did want to change because it was, say, going to be £10 a month cheaper, or they were going to get more for the money, heavily, whatever you're doing, heavily, if you think you went hard on the medical last time, go harder this time. Make it very clear to the client, this can affect your claim getting paid out. Has there been any changes? Do not just go over any changes since last time we spoke. No, right, okay, sound, next question. Because it's not worth it's not even for the risk of what damages to your actual reputation, but I mean in terms of like, imagine that client, being that client who thinks, oh God, I'd have been paid out if I hadn't done that with her.
I think that's good though to think that way, because I think that you can, you're putting the client first. That's the thing when you do that.
Yeah, but then you'll get some people who say, well, no, they've got up-to-date cover now, it's the same price and blah, blah. And that's true. Okay.
I guess it's your attitude to risk, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I don't like it. However, the reason you should do reviews and the reason you should make sure that clients are kept up to date, not because you're wanting to flip them, bless you, everyone in here sneezed, flip them, rebroke them, or make more money, because you actually want to make sure that the cover's still relevant. I've got a little story for you.
Yeah.
So the other month, I spoke to a client who I hadn't spoken to in, I think it was 3 years. And I just said, look, I haven't looked at your cover or went over anything with you for 3 years. I text her in between, like, for things. Like, I hadn't not spoke to her at all, but I hadn't went over a cover. So I was like, I'm going to just run over everything, make sure everything's still relevant, up to date, and you're still happy with everything. She had kids. Anyway, we're going through it, and she said, well, this is much as come off the mortgage, blah, blah. And I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the medical questions. I'm going to check to see what's available. If there's nothing else available at a lot, like at a cheaper price or relatively better for your money, then we'll just keep it where it is. So then I start going through the medical with her, and she goes, oh, well, yeah, I had some skin cancer last year. I was like, what? She was like, I had some skin cancer last year. I was like, right. And I was like, right, so tell me what happened. So she was telling me, I was thinking, why has she not told me this? So I said, why haven't you, like, told me this before? Like, why are you telling me now? She went, well, I was only in hospital for like a day. Like, I'm fine. It hasn't come back and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, right. And, like, she finished talking. And I went, look, I said, I don't think I should be looking at your, I think you've got a claim here. And she was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And she was like, I said, I think you've got a claim. Like, I'm not saying you have. I don't know the severity. I'm not a doctor. But but
Basically a doctor, though.
But I do think we should, before I review any cover, I think we need to look to see if this is a claim. So we did. 6 weeks later or whatever, she's been paid out £95,000.
Wow. For a day.
95 grand. And she's like, I don't understand. And the beauty of that one is, which was just amazing, was obviously it was brilliant because she was fine and everything. She was so fine that she didn't even think to mention it to me. Yeah. Like, it was nothing to her. And when I actually done her cover, she only had life cover originally. And she'd only been insured with me for, like, it'll have been 2 years because it was the year before when she got the skin cancer. So she paid her insurance for 2 years. She would have only had life cover normally before I seen her. And she got paid out 95 grand.
Was that the mortgage then? She paid the mortgage off?
Yeah, paid the mortgage off. And that's why you should review cover for those types of things, because that, I guarantee, that will bring me endless amounts of business.
Is there a cut-off date? Is there a cut-off date from a claim to when it's...
I don't know, to be honest. I know
I don't know either.
There can be historic. There will be a time that there will be a period, but I think it is quite, I know all the providers are different, but hers was over a year old.
Yeah.
I've heard of ones before where it's been like 2-3 years down the line.
I can imagine if it's something like that and then you do have a review with somebody who knows what they're talking about, or like someone sat with you and their friends claim, and you're like, oh, I wonder if that policy...
Yeah, well, one of our advisors done the same thing, was reviewing someone's cover, and instead of reviewing a cover, was like, this is a claim, this, you know. And the client ended up getting a claim paid out because she'd gone through our advisor, not through her own.
Yeah.
And then obviously their policy ended and she got her husband covered with us instead, because she was like, how have I not known this, that I could have got paid out? Like, it was just, it's mental. So there's very good reasons to review, but only review when you're doing it for the right reasons.
It's amazing. What's the parting word on that?
On that, I'm going to go proper corny and my usual, but conscience over commission, always.
Corny. I was going to hit the whack button, but it's not whack because it is good. Commission. I like that. You need that on your on a t-shirt or something.
I don't know. I'll get it.